God bless. I want to give an honor to God who is the head over my life. Please go with me to Luke chapter 13. Um, we'll be reading, Luke chapter 14. We'll be reading verses 1 through 7. The subject will be Jesus heals a man with swollen limbs. On Sabbath, when Jesus went to eat in the house of prominent Pharisees, he was being carefully watched. There in front of him was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, is it lawful to heal on Sabbath or not? But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked them, if one of you has a child on an ox that falls into a well on Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out? And they had nothing to say. So let's get into this reading. In verses 1 through 6, earlier Jesus had been invited to a Pharisee's home for discussion. This time had a prominent Pharisees invited Jesus to his home specifically to trap him into saying or doing something for which he could be arrested. It may be surprising to see Jesus on the Pharisees' turf after he had denounced them so many times, but he was not afraid to face them, even though he knew that their purpose was to try to trick him into breaking their law. If you go to verses 17 and 14, Jesus taught two lessons here. Lesson 1, he spoke to the guests, telling them not to seek places of honor. Jesus regards service as more important in his kingdom than status. If you go, lesson 2, he told the host not to be exclusive about whom he invited. God opens his kingdom to everyone. Okay, let's go to verses 7 and 11. Jesus advised people not to rush into the best places at a feast. People today are just as eager to rise their social status and reputations rather than being in the right place, dressing for success, or driving the right car. Whom do you try to impress rather than aiming for a prestigious look for a place where you can serve? If God wants you to serve on a wider scale, he will invite you to take a higher place. Verse 11, how can we humble ourselves? Some people try to give the appearance of humility in order to manipulate others. Others think that humility means putting themselves down. Truly humble people compare themselves only with Jesus, realize their sinfulness, and understand their limitation. They also recognize their gifts and strengths, are willing to use them as God's direct. Humility does not require self-degradation. We must realistically access ourselves and put our commitment to serve Jesus and others first. So on Sabbath day, Jesus healed a man with swollen limbs. His limbs were so swollen that he was unable to walk on them. It was the abnormal swelling of the body, but Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, is it lawful to heal on Sabbath or not? Okay. But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked him, if one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out? If one of your friends or one of your family members was caught in a web that Satan was using them, would you pull them out or would you leave them stuck? So in this particular case, Jesus healed the man with swollen limbs. I'm not Jesus, of course, but anytime that you call, you have all authority that Jesus will give you. Taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked him, if one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out? And they had nothing to say. How many will you look at someone and say, I have to pull the sheep out of this pig pen before it suffocates? My subject is Jesus heals a man with swollen limbs. God bless.